How are you, sir?
Hi, Mr. Governor. How are you?
What, like that, Governor? Very nice. Are we
Yes.
doing video, audio only? What are we doing?
Audio.
I love it. Rock and roll.
All right. Thank you for your promptness.
So, what does your audience want to talk about?
Okay. Well, the first thing I wanted to say to you is that I know you're probably middle of like this crazy media blitz and going on tons of shows and talking to millions of people and saying your story a million times.
I wish it was a million. It's thousands, yes, but I don't get millions yet. I wish. Soon. I'm going on Beck next week. That might be millions.
Very good. So I want to know, I want to know actually what would make this fun for you, first of all. I'm sure you're sick of going through your the usual questions.
I don't mind. What I'm talking, who is your audience? Like, what do they want to hear? What do they care about?
My audience cares about improving their effectiveness in their companies.
Mm-hmm.
My audience cares about learning to tell the truth even when it's uncomfortable to their employees and to themselves about what's not working and why.
So this is much more of is this more of a small business owner? Is this more of an executive? Is this more of a combination?
Yeah, great question. My two clientele are two separate groups. One is business owners under 50 employees, and one is executives at large corporations.
All right. So let me talk a business about supporting small businesses in New York State, because they'll care about that, obviously, right? And then let me talk about what it is to, how about,
let me
talk about positiveness and truth and how it's working in politics.
Okay, great. I just want to tell you, by the way, that as someone who tears his hair out in grief at the ridiculous inefficiency and ineffectiveness of city governments and state governments, talking to you is like, it's like talking to a real libertarian, like who actually wants to cut regulation and cut the bloat in education is like awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Now, I just want to clear something up for a second, because I was checking out your life story a little bit. You joined the Marines at 17?
You can, absolutely. You signed up at 17, yeah.
Wow, that's really young, man.
You cannot go into a combat zone until you're 18, but you can be trained at 17.
And wow, so you must be really called to serve people.
No, I don't know. I was trying to escape.
I see.
So I don't think it was there for serving. I think it was there for escape.
I see.
I mean, it's a good narrative. I like the narrative. Just don't think it's true.
Interesting. And you're actually an Aquarius moon. Did you know this?
I thought I was a Cancer.
Well, your Cancer is your sun. See, I actually took your birth date from Wikipedia. Oh my God, he has an Aquarius moon, which is why he's rebellious and does it always the way he sees that it will work and doesn't give a shit about what other people think.
All true. Yes.
All right. So let's talk about small business in New York and why people should trust you.
So are we starting now?
Yeah, let's start. I want to know, first of all, every small business owner I've spoken to is so goddamn jaded by every politician who's promised them the sky and done nothing. So why are you different? Why should people trust you?
No, it's a good point, and there are several things. The number one thing is they're correct. Most politicians don't do anything for small business for a very important reason. They have no idea what that means. They just don't know, right? And if you look right now at the two people running in New York State, you look at the Republican and, of course, our current king, Andrew Cuomo. Yes, King Andrew.
I love that.
Cuomo
King
II.
Andrew.
He actually, both of them, they don't know anything except government. They've been politicians their entire life. So how would they know? Their answer to everything is always the same thing, which is, how do we tax more? How do we fund more? If you're a Democrat, you'll use the phrase, the word fund, or the phrase fully funding. Excuse me. If you're a Republican, you use the phrase invest. Both of those mean tax more. But I'm the guy who's not an actual politician. I'm a business guy. I know that when I don't have enough money, I can't magically just force the people who come into my store or into my business just pay more because I'm government. I can't do that. I have to use what I have to make more value. If I don't do that, I fail. That's what I have to do. So I look at government the same way. Most people in government look at the people as a resource, not as a customer. I look at them as a customer. It's a whole different issue. I speak often about the idea of happiness. And there's two reasons. There's a business reason and there's a political reason. The political reason is actually relatively simple. Our nation was built on three things. Our founding documents: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. And no one talks about that. And that's the number one thing. Happiness. If I have happy people, they tend to want to be part of my government. That's what I want. Why? Business. Because business is the same thing. If you run a business, your number one issue, and obviously those who run businesses know there are a bazillion issues, but the number one issue at the end of the day is, do I have happy customers? If I have happy customers, if everything I'm doing that may not seem like it goes to that, but actually goes to that, if I have happy customers, guess what? They decide to keep buying. They decide to tell their friends. They pay my prices happily. All those things begin to happen because I've created happy customers. As governor, I want to have happy citizens. Citizens are my customers. If I have happy citizens, guess what? They stay in New York. They build their families in New York. They build their businesses in New York. And even more importantly, they retire in New York. We have two big problems which most people will not talk to you about at all. Number one, we have over 100,000 New Yorkers leaving New York State every single year. Last year,
by the way, did you see recently, I forget who it was. I think it was Cuomo who said, no, people are leaving New York because of the weather.
Yes, that's the weather. Oh my God. Then you know what? He better build a weather machine then. That's all I'm saying.
I'm like, right, because the weather in, Minnesota is so much better.
That's correct. Yes. But that's a valid point. He finally touched it. Why? I've been hammering this for a year. I've been saying this is a problem. Look, if you were a CEO and you you lose 100,000 customers every year, you should be fired.
Yep.
Right. 1 year, that could happen. Any business can have a bad business. And even 2 years, if you got a rebuilding year, that could happen. 8 in a row? Come on, guy. There's no excuse. You should be fired. Literally, now, His Majesty has ascended to the throne. We've lost 1 million New Yorkers. 1 million. That's a problem. I promise. Wow. I'm not gonna be that bad for sure.
Okay. So, and now, what's up with you being the first to challenge Cuomo?
Yeah, I was.
What is that about?
Yes, I was the first person to start running. I announced my candidacy last July. Why did I do that? I knew it would take that much time to get on fire. I knew that. His Majesty, he runs this state with an iron fist, or should I say a mailed gauntlet. He absolutely runs this state with an iron fist. That's why Cynthia Nixon had no chance, because she tried to run the Democratic Party. That's why the Republicans couldn't find anybody to run till the last minute. That's why their guy is getting his butt kicked. It's embarrassing how bad the Republicans are doing, because they couldn't find anybody to run, because no one was prepared to fight this battle like I am. I knew who he was. This would take me over a year. And finally, now I'm starting to get some traction. It's finally hitting. I am now, when people know who I am, and there's my only issue. My biggest issue is name recognition. If people know who I am and they take the time to go look at LarrySharpe.com or Larry Sharpe for New York Facebook page or the Larry Sharpe for New York YouTube, nice. You see how I plugged that in? Nice plug. Right? If you want to go in here and look at any of those things, you will actually like what you see. How do I know that? Recent poll just came out yesterday. What did it show? If people know who I am, just knowing who I am, I poll at 25%. I actually beat the Republican. I'm 13 points behind His Majesty. 13 points is doable, particularly when people see that and realize I'm the real challenger here. I'm the one who can win, and the other people start realizing that and jump on my bandwagon. This is actually a winnable race. That's why I was the first to challenge. I was the first one to jump out in front. I knew how hard this would be.
So one of the things people can already tell about you, I guess, from that is that you're a very thorough thinker and a diligent doer. You don't just jump into things willy-nilly.
That's correct. Look, I've been executing here for over a year. I basically put my entire business on hold. And again, I'm a business owner myself, right? I'm a small business owner now. And if I'm not, talking to customers, if I'm not marketing, then I'm not making money. I don't get a salary. I lost over 50% of my income last year doing this. I will lose over 75% of my income doing it this year. I have a wife who does not work, 2 kids, and I live in New York City. You can imagine the debt I'm taking on. But I don't care. Don't feel sorry for me. I want you to realize something. I knew what I was doing when I got into this. I want you to realize I'm serious. This can
Why do you care so much, Larry? Tell me why you give such a damn.
Yes, it's a great question. I don't want to move. I love my state. And I reconnected with New York State as a whole about 6 years ago. When I was a little kid, I'm 50 years old. When I was a little kid in the 70s, my parents literally had a station wagon and drove us around upstate New York, right? I was born in Manhattan, raised in the Bronx as a little kid. And they would drive us everywhere from Niagara Falls to Bear Mountain. And I loved upstate New York. It was a lot of fun and exciting. I enjoyed it tremendously. As an adult, during the Marine Corps, going off, running businesses, I kind of got disconnected from upstate for a while. And then in 2012...
Larry, just got harder to hear you.
Oh, sorry. How about now?
Much better.
Okay. So when I became a Marine and then started running businesses, in reality, it took some time and I stopped going upstate for about 20 years. Then in 2012, I got reconnected again. And it was because of the Gary Johnson campaign in 2012. I started helping. So I started helping out people in the Libertarian Party, and I got reconnected. I got reconnected in 2012, in 2014 again with the gubernatorial candidate back then, 2016 again with Gary Johnson, Alex Merced.
Larry, can I stop you for a second?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay,
I like to interrupt people.
No, go ahead.
I want to know, I know that you're getting there. Simple 2-sentence answer. Why do you care so much, Larry?
I don't want to move.
Hear that you care, but I want to know why, in like 3 sentences, you care so much.
This is my state. My family is here. My friends are here. My business is here. Why the hell should I move? I can fix this. I don't like things. I fix them. My mom was in trouble when I was a kid. I fixed that. I was in trouble. I fixed that. My business collapsed in 2009, 2010. I fixed that. I can fix this. I don't like it. I fix it. That's why.
Because you can, and because you don't want to move, and because you feel like you're uniquely suited to actually fix the mess that New York State is in.
In New York State, I am unique. That's true. I'm the only one who could have run third party, and third party is the only way to win. The Republican Party is completely broken in this state, and the Democratic Party is controlled by His Majesty. So the only way to win was third party, and there was no other third party candidate who could do this besides me.
Okay. Let me ask you something else here. You got out of the Marines in '93, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then you were a staff lieutenant?
Staff sergeant.
Staff sergeant?
Yep.
I'm sorry, staff sergeant. Okay.
Yeah. You are clearly not a military person.
Yeah. Just for the idiots in the audience like myself, what is that? What level of responsibility and accountability is that?
I was a platoon sergeant, which means
that means
you run anywhere, depending upon how large the platoon is, anywhere from 20 to about 35, 40 people.
Okay, so you had about 20 to 40 people under your command.
As a general, yes.
Okay, cool. Very interesting. And then it seems like you got out in '93, you started a company, and you sold that company a short 8 years later in 2001.
Actually, no, that's not what happened. When I got out, I became an English teacher for a short period of time. And I also helped my mom start up a business. My mom, this is an interesting story. My mom could not handle my father dying when I was a kid. My father died when I was 12. And that's
wow. Hold on. Your father died when you were 12?
Yes.
Wow. My father died here.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you now.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I said my father died 1.5 years ago, and I thought I was young. Holy hell.
No, I was 12 when he passed. So my mother couldn't handle when my father died and when I left to go off to the Marine Corps. I left, as I told you, I joined when I was 17. So she couldn't handle it. When I got back from the Marines, my mom was in a bad place. She literally had become addicted originally to legal drugs and then eventually to illegal drugs. And she was a victim of the drug war. She was a convicted felon. So I pulled her out of prison and tried to get things going for her. And it took a lot of time to get that started up. And what I found was, and if anyone who's had a felon in their life, it's very hard when you have a felon in your life. It's hard to move forward. It's hard to, get a job. And when my mom got a job, she felt like a hostage because, she was afraid if she got fired, did anything wrong, she got fired, there was no job for her. I didn't like my mom being a hostage. So I was going to fix that. How did I fix that? I started a business and I made her the boss. I didn't have any ownership in it at all. Only she and my stepdad did. She got remarried. So her and my stepdad started a business together. I helped run it. We got it up and running and she ran it. And the reason why I did it was, if you're the boss, you can't be fired. No more hostage. That was my first attempt at business because I did it because I didn't want my mom to be a hostage. So she ran that business until she retired. And when she retired, she moved down to South Carolina and she passed away several years ago. So that was my first foray. Then after that, I got several jobs. Didn't like those jobs. Started my own business again. That was my distribution company. That one failed, so I sold that one off. That was only about 1.5 years, 2 years. Then I had another job. Then I started this business. And the business I have now, I'm a trainer, consultant, teacher, executive coach. And I do a lot of work with some large companies like Estee Lauder and Models. And I have a lot of small companies like small law firms and small IT firms. I've taught many colleges at John Jay and Baruch, and I've also taught as a guest instructor at the graduate level of both Yale and Columbia. And I've also been, for a short time, a temporary officer in a public company twice to help fix things. I'm the fixer guy, as I keep saying.
Okay, I see. And if you have to describe what your let's just say what your special set of skills is when you come into companies, what do you really shift around for people in companies? What's your unique talent stack there?
It's respect. Number one piece. It's the reason why I'm a libertarian, right? The libertarian rules are you can be anybody you want to be. Just don't force your views on others. Don't force people to do anything, and respect everyone's right to be different. That's the number one thing the Libertarian Party is all about. And people don't understand that. They keep thinking libertarians about this crazy thing and that crazy thing. No. How do I know that? If you watch anything I do, if you watch any of my Go Lives, you watch any of my YouTube videos, you watch anything about what I'm doing, you will see it's always the same thing. It's about how do we get to this spot without forcing people to get to this spot? How do we change an environment to where we have an environment of success, an environment of a common goal? The thing that's funny about it is, for most people, the end game is agreeable. We agree on the outcomes. We often do. We all want better education. We all want more opportunity. Where do we fight? We fight on how to get there. But if we focus instead on what we're trying to achieve, we can find different ways to get there. And if we respect each other's opinions, you'll find all of a sudden you begin to win. But the second thing is localization. Let me touch the next piece. Localization matters. And what I mean by that is you see on TV all the time, on movies or something, I'm the fixer and I come in and I know everything. And I'm going to tell you, Barry, what you got to do. I'm going to tell Jane what she has to do. I'm going to tell Bob what he has to do. That's exactly the wrong way of doing things. The right way of doing things is saying, okay, guys, what's happening? Can we get everyone on the same page? How do we move forward? You're touching the right people. What do you see? And those who refuse to do anything and refuse and stay in the old ways and won't move wind up realizing they don't belong. And they very often self-police and they leave on their own. And those people who always wanted to be in charge and wanted to make things happen and wanted to have the right things happen, we saw showing them respect and they start giving you amazing ideas. Every idea I've come up with alone in this campaign has happened with either me and or my team and or people I've met. I've crossed this entire state over the last year and I met a bunch of teachers. That's part of the reason and part of the way that I got my actual plan for teachers. And I met a bunch of corrections officers. That's how I got my plan for corrections officers. That's the skill set. The skill set is not thinking that I'm the smartest guy in the room, not thinking that I have to know everything, understanding that everyone around me is always going to be smarter than me. 3 people are almost always smarter than any one person.
So what would that look like? Just for a second, let's go there. What would that look like? Let's say I'm a small business owner and I have, let's say 12 employees and, you know, we're doing worse this year than last year. And my people kind of just show up and kind of half-ass their work. And then I bring you in. What's like one of the first things you would do there?
Well, let's talk about 2 things. Let's talk about this as government and let's talk about this as business. In the case of government, what happens when I walk into that room? The first thing I try to do is support small business by doing things like, as an example, why in the world should some small business that is not selling outside of New York State, why would it be in any way beholden to federal regulatory bodies? Right now in Wyoming, they already have that rule that if you're a farm and you sell only within Wyoming, you're not responsible for federal regulatory bodies. It has to be transparent. As always, transparency is key. There's a stamp that says we don't follow these rules, and now the consumer decides. Does the consumer care if they're following federal rules? Then the consumer doesn't purchase it. If the consumer doesn't care, the consumer could purchase it. Up to them. That allows a small business to decide what makes the most sense in their area. And certain areas, people want to buy local and don't care about FDA approval or anything. Nothing. That depends, right? Health food store is a good example.
And Larry, what's the best counter argument to that? Because because it seems so freaking simple.
The counter argument is a terrible counter. It's this. It's, well, then no one will be in control. Then people will die. That's the counter argument. But let me give you the example that shows that's a garbage argument. I just mentioned it. Health food stores. Health food stores are not regulated, right? They're just regular business regulation. That's it. Not special regulation. 95, if not more % of all health food store items are not FDA approved. Where are all the deaths from health food stores? None. Nowhere. And what would happen if there, say for example, that there actually was a product in a health food store shelf or on a GNC or a insert vitamin shop, insert place. There's a product on there that when you take it, there's a high percentage chance that you're going to become addicted and do dumb things. If that were true, and we came out, look, it's this thing, ABC pill. You take this pill and look at what's going to happen. If that came out, you know what would happen? The health food store would stop selling it. That would maybe take 1 month. It would probably also someone get sued and it would end. Well, guess what? We have that now. It's called opioids by the FDA, FDA approved and being given out by doctors' prescriptions.
True, very true.
Our addicts come from FDA approved opioids. That's happening now, been happening for decades, still crushing Americans, still killing Americans, over 100 every day. That's already happening. So that counter argument is a garbage argument. It doesn't work. You can see it now. And that's the counter argument. My point
and then regarding education, what I saw that made me say to myself, like, okay, this guy just really gets it, is one of the things I've heard you said is that everyone should be able to opt out of testing, standardized testing at any time because kids who do not test well are labeled as dumb and, stuff in that vein, which to me is just really on the money. And it's so rare to hear someone say that.
Do you want me to go back to your first question or answer this one?
No, this is not a question. Go back to my first one about,
No worries. Good. All right. So when it comes to a government, I want to do things like that, right? Things that will support small business. Not just that, I want to support small farmers. Small farmers right now aren't treated at all like business. They're treated like farmers. They pay very high insurances. They pay very high for workers' comp. They can't get SBA loans. They get hammered, right? Instead, we should be allowing them to actually put facilities on their farms. If they want to create craft milk products, they want to create craft yogurts or craft ice cream or craft cheeses, or maybe they want to grow hemp or cannabis, which we also don't do, right? We punish those industries, right? We should be allowing people who are farmers to grow hemp and cannabis products like onions. And I mean that, like onions, no special licenses. You start doing special licenses and special requirements, big business wins, small business loses. And if you want a resilient society, whether that's a town economy, a state economy, a city economy, a national economy, it doesn't matter. You have to have a vibrant small business community. That is resilience. New York State has been very bad at that. What we've done is that is punished and hunted small businesses to extinction, and we bribe big business to come in, which makes it even worse. We bribe big business to come in. They crush all the businesses around them because they're big business and now have.
Give me an example. Give me an example where we bribe big companies.
Sure, we say, hey, Alcoa, stay in New York State, and we'll give you this, and we'll give you $5 million in tax rebates. We'll give you or Solar City. Hey, Elon Musk, come to the Buffalo area, and we'll build the facility for you. Right? Things like
I see.
That's the bribes. I mean, hey, this did not happen, but hey, Amazon, come. Amazon wouldn't come, but hey, Amazon, come, and we'll literally give you 10 years of no taxes.
And the thinking is that we need to do that because that will bring jobs?
Yes, that's correct. And again, this is horrible thinking. If you have to bribe big business to come here, that means the environment sucks. So how about change the environment so you don't have to bribe them?
That's great. I love that.
That's simple.
I really love that.
You shouldn't have to bribe people. If you have to bribe them, the environment sucks. So let me be clear. We did it with education also. Our brilliant free education.
So Larry, one second. Would it be fair to say like the equivalent? Because I want to put it into an equivalent my people can totally understand. So they run small businesses.
Yep.
So I guess the parallel would be if you had to like pay people $20,000 just to come work for you before they even get their first check, like something's really off about your company.
Or about the environment. One of the two. Right? It could be your company or it could be the environment, right? It could be it could be that people don't want to work for you. It could be that. Or it could be that people don't want to move into your environment. It could be that your environment is so competitive, there are so many other options. So I don't want to assume it's your company. It could be. You could have something wrong with your company. But it could be your industry, right? Or it could be other things around it. But something's wrong, right? If you have to bribe people to come to work for you, something's wrong. You shouldn't go, let me make my bribes better. That's not going to work. Look, you and I both know this. Money by itself is a very poor motivator. Money with something is a very good motivator. If you just give someone money and nothing else, a year later, they just want more money. Then a year later, they just want more money. But you've got to give them money plus something, money plus purpose, money plus promotion, money plus warm, fuzzy feeling, money plus something. There's got to be an extra thing on top. If it isn't.
Or purpose, an opportunity to meaning, for meaning.
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Something. You've got to add something on top of the money, right? As a general rule, you can use the acronym AIM. The AIM acronym means A. You can do something, not just giving them money, but give them something on top of that, right? Which is, I'm sorry, I'm going to put in my own acronym. I haven't done this in over a year. I've been doing this all the time. So yes. So you want to, A stands for autonomy, meaning giving them some ability or power to make decisions on their own, right? Something like that, if that's possible in your world. I, some way to improving themselves, personal improvement. And it may or may not be professional, depending upon what you're doing and who that person is. And M is me. Something they're doing matters to them or matters to others, and the others is someone that person cares about. Now that's very vague, but it's a good guideline as an owner or as a manager on how to motivate your people. If you can give them either some form of autonomy and or some way for them to improve and or some type of meaning, you will find that you have a better way of motivating people. If you can add money to that on purpose, on top of that, even better.
Even better, right? Now, I imagine that when you, I'm an optimist, so I'm going to say when, not if. When you win the governorship, I imagine that you'll be cutting a lot of bloat from New York government, which will mean firing a lot of people. Do you think that's accurate?
No, not at all. I think locally that will happen. My goal, again, as I talk about,
which, by the way, I just want you to know, I have no issue with that. I think that's a really good thing long term. Yeah, it wouldn't matter. I would say the truth either way, whether you were like, yay, Larry, I love you, or boy, Larry, I hate you. It wouldn't change what I would say. The point is, most of that will happen at a local level, right? The only thing that I'll be getting rid of at the top level is much more the boards and authorities and commissions that we have. So, but what I'll be doing heavily is providing surpluses to local communities and allowing them to choose, because I don't know what's right for a specific community. I'm really about, look, New York State is a very, very big. I heard you, by the way, really getting into this with Joe Rogan, where you were really bringing this point home, and it sounded like it was hard for him to get, but I completely hear what you're saying. You're saying that we need to empower the local communities to make the choices for them instead of, King Cuomo in Albany deciding what's right for, Rockland County, let's say. That's correct. And they will make mistakes. I get that. But as long as it's transparent, at least we can see it. If they need help, they call me up and I help them. And others can watch and see what goes right and goes wrong. We can have some innovation. Right now, the entire state's failing en masse. And every mistake His Majesty makes affects 62 counties. How about one county makes an error
the rest don't. And now the state can help the one county, not help 62 counties who've all made errors. We can change that. So locally that could happen. But on top of that, what I want to get rid of is more the councils and boards and authorities. If you look at everyone who's been arrested, indicted, convicted on corruption charges, all of them have been on a board or an authority or a commission. These things are literally petri dishes for corruption. I want to get rid of them. They don't do anything except make things bad. If we have more money at the local level and you're paying for what you want in your area, whether that area is, Rochester or Brooklyn or Watertown, doesn't really matter. You're paying for more. They actually have you have some recourse, right? They're responsible. Here's the issue. No one's accountable on these boards because they're all appointed. So who are they accountable to? Only His Majesty, right? They are basically His Majesty ministers. That's who they are. So what happens? You go to a board, and I'm sure you've heard of people doing this if you haven't done it yourself. You go to a board, you talk to them and tell you what your problem is. They nod their heads as if they care, and then ignore you and do whatever they want. That happens all the time. Why? They're not accountable. But if instead, this was literally your local legislator who lives in your district, who lives in your county, they're accountable to you, and they live there. Now things change. I want a whole lot more of that and a whole much less of I appoint people who I want to somehow reward for being party loyalists or for giving me money to my campaign, and then they do whatever they want, and they literally prey on the New York State populace. I'm not okay with that.
And do you think you can get us out of the top 5 states? New York is currently, I think, like number 3 highest in total tax burden. Do you think you can get us out of the top 5 or 10 by the end of the term?
Absolutely, yes. Not even, of course, yes. My long-term goal for the first 4 years is to end the state income tax. That in itself is about $40 to $50 billion every year out of our total budget of about 170. That is a huge task. I know it is. People say all the time, Larry, it's massive. It is, and there'll be many things we have to do to make that happen.
They're gonna come really after you, man.
Yes, and I'm okay with that because here's the issue. Let's say I get it done. Then I'm a massive hero. Life is awesome. We've changed New York for the best. Let's say I can't get it done, but instead I'm only able to drop 30 billion out of the 40 or 50 billion. That's still a win. I've still dropped 30 or 40 billion. Still a win. I'm okay with that.
I see. Now, what are you going to do when, let's say, the far left comes after you when let's say, for something you don't like, and they start to, paint you a certain way, you're anti this, you're anti that, or mischaracterize as I think is likely to happen since New York is heavily run by, obviously the left. What are you going to do about that?
They already do it. What do you mean? Why? I keep going. Good. What's the problem?
You're just gonna. Well, I guess my question is, are you going? Let's say a county loses a certain amount of jobs, because of something you did, and New York Times runs or New York Post, Larry Sharpe, anti-job, anti blah 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 blah. Are you gonna kind of engage? You're just gonna keep your head down, keep going, not even engage with these kind of characterizations?
Okay. First off, I completely expect that. They're going to want to beat me up like tomorrow, of course. They're going to want to lie, of course, and tell the truth and spin it the way they want, of course. That's how it works. You think I didn't know that getting into this? Of course. They do it already. All I do, same thing, is whenever they come at me, I lean in and explain. That's it. Some people are going to hate me no matter what I do. And that's fine. They'll hate me. I don't require everyone in New York State to love me. I'm going to help them no matter what. Whether you love me or hate me, I'm going to help you. And if I help you, hopefully in the long run, you'll go, that guy's helping me. I'm happy with him. And if not, then you won't vote for me in 4 years from now. Either way, I move forward. Remember something. I'm a business guy. If I get booted out in 4 years, I go back to work. It's fine. I already have a job. No worries.
You don't sound like someone who's going to take a few punches and get laid out.
I already take them. They attack me all the time. Have you seen my social media?
No.
They beat me up every day. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
My own people beat me up every day. I get beat up all the time. It's fine. Doesn't bother me one single bit. And what are you gonna do? I knew I knew what I was doing when I got involved here. I didn't go in here thinking that, I'm going to be the smartest guy and no one's going to beat me up. They beat me up all the time, and I lean in and I'm still winning. Here's the thing to remember. I don't have to have most of all of New York vote for me. I have to have just enough of those who vote to get me more than all the rest. That's it. I do that.
Right.
I win, which in reality isn't really that much of New York State.
Wow, it's very interesting.
I like that.
It's very, I'm speechless. No, but it's just so interesting to me that for the first time, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have a real shot for something so different for this state.
Absolutely. Remember something, this actually is going to be a 5-way race. And in a 5-way race, about 30 to 35% will actually win this thing. That's doable. I already poll at 25% with people who know who I am. My issue is name recognition. That's it. If I get name recognition, I win this thing. That's how that works. If I don't, I won't. That's how it works. But here's the best part. If we do the same thing we've been doing in this state for the past 16 years, which is vote red or blue, if we did it again, here's what will happen, I guarantee you. And that is blue team comes in first, red team comes in second, nothing changes. That's been happening for 16 years. But if we vote gold this year, if we actually vote Larry Sharpe in 2018, we do this in a statewide election here in New York State, here's what I promise you. Either I'll win, in which case I'll begin to change how New York State works. I'll begin to support the actual small business owner, the actual businesses that will keep people going in this state. Or I'll come in second. And if I come in second, I will get a microphone shoved in my face and they'll ask, how the hell did you come in second in New York State? And I will then talk about all the things I just told you about. So the change will happen slower, but you will still get change. If you vote Libertarian this year, I will either win or come in second, but either way, we will have change. And that's what I'm talking about. If you're happy with the death spiral that we're in, if you're happy with that, then vote red or blue. Nothing will change and we'll stay in the death spiral.
And I think the reason why you actually do have a real shot is because for a long time, at least the way it seems to me, the bloat in government was kind of hidden from people. They didn't feel that pain in their daily lives. But you're starting to see like basic things break down. Like in New York City, the trains are just absolutely atrocious.
And no one has an answer for it.
And no one has an answer. They want to spend another like $19 billion, which we both know is going to run 5 years over and be double that by the time they're
Let me touch that if I could for a second. Right now, the budget for the MTA is about $16 billion per year. Out of that $16 billion, literally $6 billion just comes from the state. Here's money because you suck and you can't get your act together. $6 billion goes right there. Here you go. Everyone in this entire state is paying for that. It's embarrassing. Everyone, and what will you say? Again, Democrats go, we have to find a way of funding, and they go 50-50, which means 50% New York, 50% the state, which means the state has to pay for the MTA, and now New York State has to pay even more, and there's congestion pricing, and now you're going to punish the people who are actually trying to stop it. You're punishing Uber. You're punishing these people. Wow.
Oh, my God. Larry, I saw red 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago when they outlawed Uber and Lyft from adding any drivers for a year. I literally was like in a rage for the day. I'm like, hold on. So the one thing that actually lets me get around, and everyone I know who Uber pools because almost no one can use the trains when they actually need to be somewhere on time. That's what you're going to go after?
Yes.
Like, what the hell?
Yes, that's my point. So you know what my plan is? It's going to sound crazy, but let me tell you, we're going to find a way for the MTA to actually make money. Yeah. How about at night? You see at night in the MTA, these are rail lines that go out to Long Island, come back into the city, go upstate, come back down. They're not being used. Why aren't those freight lines? Why aren't we using freight lines here? Freight forwarders will pay for it happily because it's cheaper than bringing trucks into the city. It'll bring less wear and tear into the city, less trucks coming to the city in the night, in the morning. And here's an even better idea. They can help fix the actual tracks. They can pay for that too. And we can lease out some of the hubs. We'll make a Home Depot hub, an Amazon hub, all those things. They will have a vested interest in upkeeping the subways and the rail lines because they're using it for their business. They will pay us for that. This gives us extra cash and lowers maintenance costs. I don't just go waste, fraud, and abuse, which means nothing. I'm actually giving us a way to make that happen. Not just that. Why in the world do we have things like the RFK Bridge or the Ed Koch Bridge? Why is
or the Verrazano or the
Verizon Bridge, the Amazon Bridge, the Google Bridge, the Key Bank Bridge? Think about this. These are companies that drop billions of dollars every year on marketing. They drop $20 million for a stadium that's used on the weekends. I'm saying take this bridge that's mentioned hundreds of times every day during rush hour in a 16 million person metro area. Of course, they pay money for that. So what about
Larry? When I heard you,
2 ways of making money that doesn't include taxation, so you can do it by moving freight and by marketing, plus swiping your card. Make enough money to pay for your own services.
Yes. Yes, and don't punish the only thing that's working.
Yes, absolutely. We've gone exactly the wrong way. And again, it's because they're only government people. That's all they can think about. I'm telling you, if you're a business owner, you don't get to just say, I want more taxes. You got to find what you have and find a better way to make more value, or you go under.
All right. So tell me 2 ways that people listening to this can help you in under 2 minutes. Yes. 2 ways that they can help you in under 2 minutes.
Number 1 thing, share, tell, talk. My number 1 thing is, without question, name recognition. So tell people that I'm running. Let them know. Go on to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and share everything you see about me. Share. If you find an article about New York in any place online, put my name in there. Let people know, hey, Larry Sharpe talks about this. Let my name out. That is the most critical piece. Number 2, if you can donate, please donate. It's LarrySharpe.com/donate. I've put over 5 figures of my own money into this campaign. I'm my 3rd biggest donor. If you donate to me, here's what I promise you. I will use it to get votes. That's all I do. I spend everything to get votes. If you can't afford to donate, then go back to plan 1. Share, talk, because that also gets me votes. I need votes. I got 20 some odd days to make this happen. It can happen.
Okay. And how much can people donate to you?
No more than $44,000. I'm not joking. That's actually the limit. So if you were going to give me $45,000, I got to tell you no. Just do $44,000.
All right. And just so people have some sense of what their money will actually do, because that's generally when people actually give. If someone donates $100, $500, or $1,000 to you, which is kind of the range of probably where my people would give.
Sure.
What will that money go towards? Tell us what that will actually do.
It will go towards 3 different things. Number 1. Right now, it will go towards TV and radio ads because we're just getting ready to put those out. This is the last month we're going to put out TV and radio ads. And we need tens of thousands of dollars for that. So there's someone out there who really wants this to happen, who wants someone who will support small business, who wants someone who will fix the MTA, who wants someone to do this stuff. They need to write me a check for 10, 20, or 30 grand. And right away, that will go right to TV and radio ads. But if you go less, no worries. That will go to Facebook and YouTube ads. We use those all the time. We do a lot of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and it's a big part of our marketing. So we'll use that also. We put together videos. We send those out all the time. And the last thing is travel, right? That's the biggest issue. Travel and bringing my team around so that we can do those go lives, do those videos, meet people, shake hands, and give out stuff. That's the biggest piece when we travel. We give out bumper stickers. We give out signs. We sell signs. We give out pins and buttons and those types of things. So it's that type of thing that will go out so that people can see who I am and what I'm doing. It's all about getting votes. So if you donate something like, $10 or $20 or $30, that's probably going towards signs and bumper stickers. If you donate $100, $200, $500, that's probably going towards YouTube ads and Facebook ads. If you give 5, 10, 20 grand, that's going towards TV and radio ads.
Okay. Well, from the bottom of my heart, Larry, I want to thank you, and I'm really rooting for you.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate
it. And I just think, obviously it's not even about you. It's about just bringing some sanity back to our freaking governance.
It is. And it's about breaking a left-right paradigm that's crushing us.
Yeah. All right. Very exciting, Larry.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great day.
Have a wonderful day. Take care, brother.